3, 2, 1, and action.
They on a roll?
Yep.
I always start like that.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
Inakupatia psych.
That's
What
the
would you
tagline.
do without Deno?
That's the tagline. They on a roll. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to another session of the Playhouse. Yani, I feel like we've started a new season. and hey, if you know first of all, we've already had a CTA before this CTA. Courtesy of Sarova Hotels, Panafric. We've had some amazing breakfast, and there we had some vibes, behind the scene conversations with Sana, and let me tell you guys, if that is something to go by, today's conversation is hands down going to be one of the best CTAs that we have done. Awesome. With me, I even had to go and write this down because I didn't want to mess it up, man.
Okay.
I didn't want to just intro her from how a one-dimension perspective. Let me say, I have gotten, after Nyashinsky, this is the most requested person to be on this platform. I have been DMing her once a week for the whole year.
Once a week? I doubt that. It's been a lot.
It's been every Monday at a certain time.
But respectfully.
Yes.
Respectfully.
Yes. Sana, would you be available? So for me to see her here, it is yani an honor and a privilege. She has done a lot for the music and entertainment industry. Let me try and get this right. First and foremost, she is a recorded and performing artist. She is a songwriter. She is an actress. She is a former radio personality, not just in one radio station. We're going to be talking about that. She has doubled in a couple of radio stations. She's also a former karaoke host. As last count, she was saying she's been to over 33 different venues, from the Cream de la Cream to Kirea, Mama Wajogos, Rocos. This is going to be such an amazing conversation. I am excited. So you know how we do here in City. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, put your hands together for none other than Sanaipei Tande.
Yeah, thank you.
Sana, yani, because of you, you've made me enter a partnership with Sarova. I couldn't just bring you into.
You mean it's me?
It's you.
Bus.
I had to tell them, listen, guys, I'm bringing Sana. My venue needs to change.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
That's why this loom.
Hey, this loom.
This room looks as amazing as it is because they gave us the cream de la cream because I told them that you were coming.
Thank you.
A big thank you to Sarova. I had to mention them for us making this possible.
Absolutely.
Sa, na tutakula.
Tutakula, lakini hizo benefits pia zitrickle down kidogo.
Oh, zitrickle down?
Yeah, it can't just be you at your hosting your show, even me, bana.
Oh, that's okay. Don't worry. You know how I do. I know people in high places.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, super excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making time to come here. Let me just be honest and say in advance, we're not going to end this CTA today.
Okay.
Yes, but we are going to keep going because you have a bongela CV. There's a lot that you have done. I'm going to push in as much as I can right now before you go for your flight.
For my other things.
For your other things.
Tunasaka pesa. We are looking for it. Yes, now, absolutely.
I love starting this thing from the very beginning. And I like asking, when did you fall in love with this thing called music?
I fell in love with music at a very young age. I think while growing up in Mombasa, going to church with my mom, singing in the car, and in fact there used to be this purple book, Catholic, and I think I used to try sing as high as my mom, and when I realized that I could actually do it, it kind of encouraged me to open up and sing more songs just out of church as well. My mom was part of a choir in Mombasa, Swinging Stars, and she was first soprano.
Woohoo!
Yeah, so for me to be able to have reached her level at that young age was very, it motivated me. So I fell in love with music at that age, and then my dad used to listen to a lot of Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. Those are the people I grew up listening. Michael Bolton, of course Michael Jackson. Who didn't listen to Michael Jackson? I actually used to think I'd marry that guy, but no, it's okay to dream. It's okay to dream. So at that tender age.
Okay, let's hear a little bit about your upbringing. Where were you born? How many are you in the family? What number are you?
What number am I?
What position do you play in the family?
Okay, so born and raised in Mombasa. I was born at a place called Shelly Beach, across the ferry.
South Coast.
Yes, very beautiful place. It's so funny, when we go back there now, the house looks so small. You're like, was it because I was tiny? It used to look so huge. So lived the first 4 years there. And
can I ask what year this is? Or a man is not supposed to ask that
Oh, no.
questions?
I have no problem with that. I embrace
That's
age.
why we got
I
you
love
here.
my age. So 22nd March 1985 is when I was born. I am the second born of two. So I'm the last born, really.
Yeah.
I have an older brother, a wonderful older brother. And so first 4 years in Shelly Beach, and then to Kavuka Ferry, and we went to Nyali, which is where I lived out the rest of my life in Mombasa up until 2001,
What?
when we moved to Nairobi.
That's so Costo, you know it pretty well.
That's the funny thing. I don't. I really don't. I mean, sometimes when we go on holiday, and I like if I'm driving around with my brother, he goes to some places that I only hear of, or I'd only heard of when we were there. So I don't know the vichochoros very well. I didn't start driving until Nairobi, so obviously I didn't know very many routes.
Yeah.
And then just living in Nyali, that was the hood. You know, our friends were there, parties were there. The only time we would cross over to the other side, which would be like Ganjoni, Magongo, that would be now to go visit my aunties and my cousins, because my mom was born in a place called Guraya. Guraya iko karibu na kina, sasa nitasemaje, kina Lebanon pale. Turning time.
Wale wanajua.
Wale wanajua. Tunasema
You can't say Jew.
We don't say wanajua. Tunasema wanajua. So most of my life was spent in Nyali, and then I mean, I had a wonderful childhood.
Explains why your Swahili is so good, first and foremost. So first and foremost, let me just say, Sana's dropped a new EP. I know I'm already throwing this right here. No. But part of the reason why I'm saying that your Swahili is so well written, and I'm like, who writes for this chick? And then when I'm reading your content, it's you're the songwriter.
Yes.
So I'm understanding now why your Swahili is so Tanzanian and good.
Iko Tanzania kumbe? Iko kikosti. Anyway, so I think it's because obviously by virtue of being born and raised in Mombasa, and I know there are people tuna meet now from Mombasa who say they can't speak Swa, or they don't understand some of the words, or they don't have the accent. So I think the thing that helped me, first of all, I went to a really good school.
Okay.
Loreto Convent, Mombasa.
What is the first school you went for? Where did you start primary?
Chuda Academy is where I went to KG. I don't have much memory of that.
KG.
The only memory I have of that is tin cups where they used to give us milk and juice, and then the biscuits, those round ones. I can't remember what they used to be called. And then we used to play with dolls in a bathtub. That was our pastime. Yes. So the only thing we used to do is comb the hair. You know, when you're young, you want that long silky hair, which I didn't get, but it's okay.
It can be bought.
It can be bought. But at the end of the day, it really isn't yours. So that was Chuda Academy for KG. Primary, I joined Loreto Convent, Mombasa, standard 1 through to standard 8. I remember going for my interview. I was interviewed by Mrs. Adhiambo, the late Mungu amrehemu, and my parents were telling me that I was such an honest child, because when I did the interview, there's some parts that I left out. And when the teacher asked me, I said, but I don't know. I'm not going to write something I don't know, and I'm not going to try and fake it. You know how you're told, like in KCSE, you're told just answer the question. You might get it right. And I'm just like, but if I don't know, I don't know. I like to understand things from as in the substance of things. And there's no point of writing uku juju when it's just, you don't understand it, plain and simple. So I don't bother with it. So she told my parents that I was very honest enough to say that I don't know this and I don't know this. And I think it's one of the things that really helped me to get in the school, because I was genuine. You know, they want to raise kids like those who are actually able to tell the truth. And where you don't know, you take responsibility and say, I don't know. You know, and I still do that to date.
Powerful.
Even in the music industry, there are some things I don't know, and I will be honest enough to say I don't know because I have not taken the time to learn.
Powerful.
Yeah. So that was Loreto.
And where do you think Loreto bado hatujamaliza?
Sijamaliza narudi pale nitakutajia paka all my class teachers, I must tell you.
So where do you think that value system came? The fact that even before joining Loreto, you're already so honest. Is that your upbringing? Is it your parents?
I most definitely attribute it to my upbringing. I had, like I said, I had a wonderful childhood. I have wonderful parents. I can't call them strict. They're just very firm in just in their beliefs and in their teachings. And they're also very liberal, But
it's a nice mix.
Yeah, it's a mix. It's a balance. You have to find a balance. But I find that these days, parents want to be, you're told, oh, be friends with your children, but you can't be friends if you're not a parent first. And for me, I feel like my parents exercised that parental right before becoming friends. There was that authority. That authority had to be respected. And so I think that's where it started for me. And then now combine that with Loreto, which is a fantastic school, at least at the time that we went there. We had the Irish sisters who were running the school, so there was a lot of discipline. Yeah, so
okay, let's now jump in and talk a little bit about primary, because primary is fundamental in shaping some things.
Yes.
So what I'm hearing, you've already found out about this music gift by the time you're joining.
Yes, by the time I'm joining.
Okay, so tell me a little bit more about primary, music, arts, whatever it may be.
So primary was fantastic.
Friends.
Like I said, standard 1, I started with Miss Adhiambo. And then I went to standard 2, which was Miss Salam.
Utawataja zote?
Nitawataja wote mpaka standard 8. Hata wale walibadilishwa tukiwa katikati. And then standard 3, tuliendelea na Miss Salam. Tukaingia standard 4 na standard 5. We moved with our teacher, Mrs. Mlagui. She was just a mother.
And are you dabbling in music at this time?
No, not yet. Okay. Music was offered as a subject, but I think we basically started music upper primary, so would be like standard 5 going up.
Did you enjoy school?
I did. I absolutely loved school. It was a school that understood that children are children. They need to play. They need fun activities, and they need to be introduced also to, just clubs where they can interact and stuff. The one thing I'll attribute to Loreto is that our teachers were like parents. You know how they say a school that is a home away from home? That's what Loreto was. We were well taken care of. So ngoja nimalize walimu kwanza. Standard 4, standard 5, tukaenda na Mrs. Mlagui. Standard 6 was Mrs. Mjomba. Standard 7, we had Mr. Gatama. Standard 8, we had Mr. Bandika. Exactly. What? He was a guy for bandikaing. There were no jokes there. As in, that guy, I remember one time some very bad book had been brought to school. Those books that we're not supposed to see with those pictures. And he had told us, now, I know that everyone in this class has seen that book. If you don't want me to tell your parents, mock. Kila mtu apate above 400. Those days it was out of 700. Well, si tulisoma. Yani unajikuta saa 10 kwa meza unasoma science and agriculture. Tukapata more than 400.
That is so clever.
Parents' Day. He spilled all the beans.
Wow.
We were not saved from anything. As in, I remember I was sitting with my mom waiting to be the next one to see the teacher, and I could hear this guy who was sat with his dad called Marvin alikuwa amepata 430 something. Wacha nikuambie, nilisikia your story ikisemwa. I just turned to my mom and I said, so there is this book. This book that came, I saw it, okay, but I've passed. Na akaenda akaambiwa, and let me tell you, when we left there, the first place we went was my dad's office. I was so scared because I was like, bas, unajua ile unaambiwa ngoja nimwambie daddy uone. And we went and we sat in my dad's office, and my mom went in, spoke to him, and they came out, and we went to ile Nakumati Alikon. And I saw a trouser that I liked. My dad was like, it's okay, mommy, you can buy it. I'm like, what's happening? What's happening? I thought you were just told that I did something wrong, and here you are buying me a trouser. But the tongue lashing came.
But your mom did tell him?
No, she did.
Oh.
But the tongue lashing came 2 weeks later. Hiyo lazima nilikuwa nitaambiwa. Why can't you be like your brother? Your brother doesn't do these things. But I don't know. It's a fear for every parent when ukianza kuona mtoto at a very young age and enter the wrong way.
Even right now, it's the fear for parents with the internet. Every time I have a conversation with a parent about the internet, the fear goes to the negativity that will happen on the net.
Yes.
So I understand then there was no internet, ni access of books.
And I fully understand where they were coming from. I don't look back and I say, oh, but they were so mean. No. They did what they had to do. Because like right now, when I look at, for example, my brother's kids, I want to just steer them in the right direction. Anyway, so Loreto.
So let's talk about the music coming in, because you nani alikuwa mwalimu class 6?
Mrs. Mjomba.
Mrs. Mjomba. So when does the music now check?
Okay, so we had a music teacher, Mrs. Mubiru. God rest her soul as well. She was so being in a Catholic school. there was a lot of mass that we used to have on Fridays, and Wednesdays we used to have rehearsals for the mass. And so Mrs. Mubiru used to play the organ, and we'd all go on Wednesdays and we would learn the songs. And every Friday for the mass, each class would take responsibility and be the ones to do the offertory, to lead the songs. And so that's when it started being instilled. As a music subject, what we used to learn was the recorder. Yeah. And I guess, you like it because each of you is playing something different. It comes together, that uniformity, that being together, that teamwork made the music sound so good. And I mean, I can't say that's when I started liking music, because obviously it was when I was singing with my mom.
Yeah.
But that definitely played a huge role in just me taking the direction of music and loving music even when wanting to learn more. And I remember there was one time I was waiting for my dad to pick me up. We had an organ downstairs at the hall that was kind of broken down. So sometimes I would play there. And Mrs. Mubiru heard me one time. And so it was 1996, we were celebrating our Jubilee, our Diamond Jubilee. And she had requested my class teachers to allow me to go rehearse with her so I could play at the Diamond Jubilee.
Yo.
I was terrified because I would play with her on the organ. And she's those teachers from and you're just like me, I'll just play here with these small keys. But it was a recognition, it was an honor to sit next to Mrs. Mubiru and play for the whole school at the Diamond Jubilee. Our parents were invited. We had all these dignitaries, and you're up there on the pedestal and you're playing because you've been recognized, and it felt good.
Ah man, Sana, I introduced you and part of your voice is beyond just singing. So like even now I'm hearing you talk and I'm just like, were you always this? You've got the radio voice.
Oh wow, thank you.
Yes, in fact I'm like,
at least you didn't say I've got the radio face. Because I used to hear that and I'm just like, guy, why would you say that about somebody?
No. You've definitely got the radio voice. And you're very articulate and you're very confident in your speech when you are even talking right now. Were you always like this at that time? Did you stand out amongst friends? You've not even talked about friends growing up at this time. Can we jump a bit there?
So I was a very shy child. I still believe I'm pretty shy. I keep to myself a lot. I enjoy my own company. I can hang with friends, but especially now, like beyond 2 hours, I just want to die. Because I'm just like, see, we've talked. See, it's enough.
Kuna maji hapo. Hapa ni CT utaongea.
Hapa ni sawa. Hii ni interview. Okay, lakini ati sasa tumekaa chini, tumeongea saa moja, saa mbili. I'm like, si tumalize. Tunarudia tu sasa. Because I remember I have a friend of mine who's actually one of my very, very good friends. Her name is Bori. Bori, she lives in France now. So when she was living here, she would call every day. And I had to tell her, I'm like, but what are we discussing? Can't we just text? I cannot be on the phone for an hour like this. Maskini, and she wasn't doing it for anything else other than just connecting, but she eventually got to understand me. There's some people that I've had to drop because they just don't get who I am.
Wanapenda kubonga.
Wanapenda kumit kila mara. Tunafanya nini? Ni ukweli. So friends
first of all, the voice, what did this, you said you're shy, but then when you spoke,
yes,
were you like, hey Darren, go and do our poetry?
There was a lot of being singled out for all the good reasons in schools. Like you'd always be the one that the teachers notice. You'd always be the one that somebody wants to be your friend, or people want to include you in this clique, or hang with you and whatever.
Okay.
But I never had that. I've never had a thing for I'm in this clique. I'm friends with like the most popular people in school. For me, if we click, we click. Okay. If we don't, we don't. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what you do or what your parents do, what car they drive. I don't care about that stuff. And I think I went on with that. It's still who I am today. But I remember specifically when I was in college, and I'm sorry I've gone ahead, Kenya Medical Training College, I would hang with the kids who didn't particularly stand out. Because I don't like people who put others down because they don't look hot enough, or they're not as rich as us, or they're not in our class or whatever. I don't like that, and so I would ignore the cliques.
Okay.
And just sit with the normal people in that big hall where we used to eat githeri.
I get it.
It's really about who you click with, and so my friends are very diverse, very diverse.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about now?
So the voice.
Oh, okay, yes, the voice, and then after the voice, outside school, what's the life at this time?
Okay.
First the voice.
So the voice, I think the being told about the fact that wow, you'd sound really good on radio, that
so
came
you had
much
that. Okay,
later.
much later, okay.
Much later. Those are not even things that I considered myself doing. I liked music, yes, but I never imagined myself being a musician. I never imagined myself getting into entertainment, being a model.
Are you acting in school? Does Loreto have this at the time?
So first of all, in KG, I acted as a witch. Yeah, I was so tiny with like a black and white dress with yellow buttons, and then they gave me this hat for those two pointy ones. And I was casting Sleeping Beauty. I don't even remember. If it was not for the pictures, I would not remember that situation. I would not. So when I went to Loreto, I think from standard 4 or 5 is when we were allowed now to get on the stage and act. I've played a tree. I remember going with my mom to a tailor to show another the trunk. Just a brown dress. It was a very unflattering dress.
Were you talking tree though?
No, the rest unaenda kuchuna hiyo majani ya inaitwa nini mwarubaini, and you stand there like this. So I played a witch, I've played a tree, I've played Mother Mary. Angel Gabriel came to me. I remember it was one John Kidenda. He was playing the angel, and I'm there, let it be with baby Jesus.
That's a big role.
It's a very big role.
Especially in the Catholic.
And I'm just like, geez.
That's like God.
Exactly. And at that time you have to coordinate with Mrs. Mubiru because all these things were rehearsed. So after, Angel Gabriel does his thing, and then Mrs. Mubiru plays ding, 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 then you know when to come in. So all that, I think that really helped, even with, as a recording artist, when a producer tells you, so after 4 beats, you know when to come in. I've seen a few musicians who, when performing with a band, never really know when to come in. Yeah.
Juliani.
Sikusema. Wait. So with the voice, it came much later to be told that.
And did you enjoy being on stage?
I did. It was part of what we did in school.
Okay. Did you know?
Yeah, we had plays for our parents every once a year. Yeah, okay. So it became, the thing is, like I told you, authority. The school has said, this is what we are doing, so get with the program.
Okay.
So you get with the program. But as, like for the singing voice, for example, I remember we used to have these Ma communities, Maasai community in Mombasa, and they'd organize these events. It's for Maasais in Coast. And they would organize events, our uncles and aunties. And I remember one time when I sang, my dad was told by one of my uncles, Manase, unaketia pesa hapa. Do something about this talent. And I must, just...
Oh, that's powerful.
Yeah. So I must really commend my parents for going through this journey with me and for encouraging me through every single step to date.
Okay.
He did something about it.
Pole sana, I love rabbit holes, and so many questions begin popping into my mind.
Shoot.
So explain to me now, first of all, you're from the exotic, amazing culture tribe known as the Maasai.
Yes.
So are you, but at this time you're in Coast.
Yes.
So first of all, explain to me how is the Maasai culture been? Are you aware that I'm a Maasai? Is the culture been brought into you? Amani just we're normal Kenyans.
Well, obviously.
Can you speak Maasai?
No.
Okay.
I can say a few words.
Can you understand?
No.
Okay.
And this is by virtue of
Oh, sorry.
What? Look, I am a Maasai growing up in Mombasa.
Okay.
I have 2 parents from 4 different tribes.
Okay.
Okay, and so it's not being spoken at home. Yeah.
Okay.
I know, like for example, my Kikuyu relatives, unakuta baba na mama are both Kikuyu.
Yeah.
It's being spoken at home. And therefore, when you're picking up from such a tender age, eventually it becomes part and parcel of your life. But here you are, mom is, Shelly, Jaluo, and then you've got dad who's Maasai with a bit of Kikuyu. The language is not being spoken at home.
I get it.
You just hear the occasional words for tabala. That's because my hand was always everywhere. Now, what are you? Or things like owene, which is come. Maabe, which is let's go. So neno moja hapa you will understand. But full sentences, it's a lie. It's a lie. I think my grandfather, Maingakuya, is the one who taught me the longest sentence I know. And that was Encho Yokenkare, which is give us water. And I can see his handwriting there in that kabuk with this single lines. Very nice. And that used to happen a lot because we used to come to Nairobi for holiday every April and every December.
Okay.
We used to come to night. Yeah.
One last question before we leave this primary. What are you listening to? What's the music? What's the music
At the time?
Yes, at that time.
At the time, I'm listening to a lot of Mariah Carey and a lot of Whitney, a lot of Michael Jackson, Bolton, Tevin Campbell.
R&B to the core.
Yes, Mariah Carey had a really huge impact on me because...
Hero, that album with it.
Not that song, please.
Or the one before.
Oh, Hero, I
Vision of Love.
cannot. Yani, okay, you can like an artist lakini kuna ngoma zingine zinakuchokesha. So things like Hero, I didn't like that. I liked, for some strange reason, I have a thing for finding hidden gems in albums. And so for Mariah, there were things like, well, obviously Vision of Love. There were...
Make It Happen.
The slower ones. I liked the slower ones because I also used to want to sing with her whistling voice. And I think that's why I trained myself to sing from here and not from here. To be able to achieve that high sound, for me, I felt that I could only do it from here. So even till today, I don't sing from here. If I sing from here, my voice will crack because it's not something I trained myself to do. And a lot of the times you'll find that after a performance, the following day is a struggle because nime exhaust hapa. Yeah. So there's so many songs. Mention them for me, you know them.
I know. You know I was obsessed with Mariah. Make It Happen, Vision of Love.
Anytime You Need a Friend. That was a very prime song though. There's one where she says, whenever you fall, whenever you call.
With Brian McKnight. That's later.
Yeah, but she's done the original without Brian McKnight. So those kind of songs. Okay. Michael Bolton, you know, when a man loves a woman. I can't seem to get them off the top of my head. Yep. This is how you know unapenda mziki sana mpaka hata title hujui. It's true.
You know it by the first one.
Yeah, Tevin Campbell is the brown-eyed girl. Dun, 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 dun. So and even till today, when I listen to an album, I find myself going more towards or leaning more towards the songs that are not the hits. And I think it's sort of influenced my music as well, because I'm not, when I sit down to write a song, I don't think about, how can I make this jam a hit? No. I want the message to speak to you. So yeah, it clearly influenced a lot.
For real.
Yeah.
So locally, is there anything that's you're listening to
at the time? No.
Okay.
Maybe Bango. You know Bango?
No, I don't know.
This is courtesy of my mom, by the way. She used to listen to a lot of Bango. Ile simba una nini kichwani, ushasahau za mwituni na ukinila hata mimi. Those kind of songs. So I listened to a lot of Bango with my mom. Sometimes, you know, when there's weddings, she would carry me along, and the dancing style is the same. You know?
And the coastal music, your music actually has I'm getting a lot, I'm understanding a lot. The backstory is so important for this.
Yeah.
Your music has a lot of that Tarab
influence.
That coastal.
But that's the funny thing. I am not a fan of Tarab music. The really deep one. It's not me. It really isn't. It influences the sound, the coastal accent, but not the deep Taarab music. I don't even understand sometimes.
Whoa.
Yeah, I remember when I was shooting Aziza and they had some songs that they wanted me to sing. I would have to sit and listen and over-listen because it's almost not very structured. It's just maneno ya ingilia, kisha biti, kisha mtu yuingilia tena, and I'm just like, wow, this is hard music. But no, I can't say that Taarab music is music I grew up listening to. Okay. Yeah.
Do you do well in school, class 8?
I was a very good student. Like I told you, authority is a very big thing for me. When you're in school, your job is to learn. And other than the fact that we had amazing teachers, I think at home also there was time. My parents had time. My mom would do homework with us every evening. I can literally see her with a math book. She would turn it upside down, put the ruler here and say, you must leave 2 boxes. You draw the line, then you turn the book around. You must put your date here. If you've divided the page, you must leave 2 boxes in between. You must write each number in its box. You must skip a line. My mom I think she could have been the best teacher ever. She was the best teacher for me. We used to you know, like covering day for covering books. First, we started with, so she would take us in stages. You are allowed to write your name on the label. All our books had labels. And then after that, you're allowed to stick the label. Okay? So you put water here and then, you know, stick. Then the next thing we were allowed to do...
You've taken me back. What?
The next thing we were allowed to do was to cover with the hard cover, the brown one, because my mom used to also put the polythene one on top so that isiingie maji, ukimwagilia glue, sijui nini, ukimwagilia ink, and then eventually we graduated now to covering with the polythene one. Is it nylon? Is it I don't know, the see-through one. And because cutting that one, you had to be very careful isi slide. So we did all that. So I was a very disciplined child, and very good in school. I was a good student. I got good grades.
And when do you finish? When do you finish KCP?
KCP, I finished 1998.
Okay.
Yeah. So I remember there was a time, and my dad still owes me a bicycle, in standard 6, and my brother was in 8. Your time to fail. We didn't fail, but we didn't do as good as we used to do. And my dad decided, you guys don't know me. Katwekea rules. Aliziandika. He wrote the rules on his foolscap, and he wrote for Sana, for Saimi, and he cut it in 2, and it was stuck on top on the wall over your bed. Not going to compound, no riding the bicycle, no watching TV, mpaka to pass. And so that coming term, which was the 3rd term, in standard 6, I became number 4. My dad owes me a bicycle, a mountain bike. To date, Daddy, you owe me a bicycle. Naikuja na a very big red bow. Yes, I became number 4, and that was 1996. So he owes me a bike.
So you go. First of all, does Sanaipei mean anything?
Sanaipei. Sanaipei was
it's Sanaipei.
Ukisikia Daddy amekuita hivyo, unajua kuna shida. Sanaipei. Kusha. But when he calls me things like Endito. Endito is an endearing word in Kimasai for a girl child, or wanchanai. Then I know things are okay. Hata kama nimefanya makosa, we are going to talk it out. Not to say that he ever chapped me. I think the most, and that was only once in my life. I had no idea what I had done. He called me to the room. I knocked. He opened the door, took his belt. That was it. That's the biggest punishment I've ever gotten from my dad. And you see, I still turned out good. You don't have to beat your children. You don't have to beat the children. Yeah, so where were we here?
You know, so now we are entering high school. So
yes.
you finish class 8.
We finished class 8. This
Loreto?
is in 1998, Loreto Convent, Mombasa. I got 504 out of 700.
Nice.
And it was a very proud moment for all of us, including our aunties and uncles here in Nairobi, because we were in Nairobi at the time waiting for results. And I remember one of my aunties, Auntie Kuni, because I was doing KCSE with another cousin of mine here in Nairobi called Naisisi. And so we passed, and we were given some chums. Wapi, Sarit, which shop? Ile ya silver. Kwenda kununua mapete na machains. And you're just like, for what? How many fingers can you surely wear all these rings? So finished that. We had already obviously done school selection. I really cannot remember the schools. Obviously, we had the alliances were the schools that people wanted to go to at the time. So I know I had picked Alliance. I was called to Matuga.
Where's that?
It is Uko South Coast. Matuga girls. But hey, the horror stories I had heard about that place. You know, Mambo za Mombasa. Pakamusi, sijui nini. There's witchcraft. There's people walking with, speaking in tongues and stuff. And it was a boarding school. Sorry. Apologies. No so my parents obviously didn't go for that option. Now, I had an auntie of mine in Mombasa who was in the education system and managed to get me into Mama Ngina.
Okay.
Sasa, mimi sitaki kwenda boarding. Okay.
So the other one was day school?
Loreto Day School. Matuga was boarding, but obviously, when it was dismissed, I was like, hey, yay, might go to a day school. Hiyo siku nakumbuka very vividly. I had 2 beds in my room, 2 single beds. My dad came to my room and he said, you're shopping today. You're doing your hair today. You're going to school today. I cried.
Today?
I cried. I thought maybe my tears would save me. Nothing. The guy did not want to hear. Mama Ngina is a good school and we have gotten that position. You are going to go to that school. And I think Mama Ngina at the time was considered a national school in the coast.
Oh, nice.
So it was an honor, it was a privilege to go to that school, because obviously by virtue of being in a national school, people are thinking that at the end of it you're going to get really good grades.
Why didn't you want to go to boarding?
Are you kidding? I was in Loreto. Yeah, no. I was in a school where I could go home every day, I could watch TV, I could eat well, and we had this thing in Loreto called hot lunch. It was 500 a week. Yani those days, Aki food was so cheap. It was 100 bob a day, and we would have fish and chips. There's like a coleslaw on the side. There's meatballs and mashed potatoes. And I'm like, what do you mean? I've heard horror stories about body where you eat githeri every day. Haya. Mimi huyo na sanduku yangu ya blue ile ya metal. 1999. I am, at this time, I'm 14 years old. 14, 15, 16, 17. Yes, I cleared with 17. So tukaenda.